I'm out here with a hot cup of coffee, even though it's like 85 degrees, but figured I'd give you a rundown of my current Flatland bike. I've been riding this thing since like 2018 or so, built it up, all the parts, just about at once. And it started with the frame. It's a Wii Bicycles made by Dylan Worsley. It's a custom frame. I had to make me like a street flat version. I referenced Kyle Fine. Kyle Fine, if you're watching, I referenced your bike as like a mixture of street and flat, because that's what I thought I was going to be doing with this at the time, a mixture of things. So it's a 19.5 top tube, kind of a long back end, a little longer due to the issues I got going on back there, but otherwise it's served me well. I love this design. Looks like a Dow or something like that, kind of classic Flatland, double triangle with the gussets. Deco fork, got this fork from Alejo. I was just trying to find a fork that was zero offset and no brake mounts. There wasn't a ton out there at the time, and this option is great, you know? It's been solid the whole time. I also got from him these Deco pegs. The reason I got them is they're 175 diameter, and anything smaller than that, it hurts my feet. Small pegs hurt my feet. I don't know what you guys are doing out there riding those 1.5s. I wish I could run Iggy pegs, but they're just too small. But Dub, if you're watching this, make some big ones. Anyway, that's the frame set. Profile cranks with a tie spindle. These are 165 millimeter Primo pedals. The evolution of the Stricker, I don't remember what they called them anymore. And then a graveyard sprocket look-alike that's made by Pegasus, Jeff DeRoche's company. You know, I was going for a classic look at the time. If you recall, I was running the Liberté bars, those 8-piece graveyard bars. So it was a whole theme here. But I recently changed to the S&M intricate bars. These are the 8.5, and I would say I changed to them, but I actually changed back to them because I rode these back in the day from like 2012 to 2017, and they're just the best feeling bars. I love the look of 8-piece bars. I like Flatland bars, but these are the best feeling bars I've ever ridden. So I got another set. Connoisseur stem wrap. I make these, or I have these made with my buddy Josh. Big Mouth Unique is their company, and they fabricate stuff like this. And Josh helped me take this from my brain to what you see here. I have them to work with a front brake. It's a process to get these done, but they are available and can be available. Hit me up at either the Instagram right there or the email also right there. It's all just Connoisseur Flat Co. Underneath this, Pete Brandt sequence stem. I dig this stem a lot. Pete B lives in the Bay. You see me ride with him. And I always want to support. Deco headset below that. A Deco seat post underneath the clamp there, and that's a 4-piece seat. Oil slick chain, N4 front hub, Primo Free Mix rear hub. I think the rims are actually mismatched. It's a Primo 7 Series front, and for the back, all I see is Primo SA. They're a little different. When I originally built this bike, I built it up with that Fit Free Coaster wheel set from Flatlandfuel, knowing that I would be swapping out that wheel set for a bike that I was going to buy off my buddy on the East Coast. And I tell that whole story a little later in this video because I shot later in this video before this, but I got a Fit wheel set for this bike knowing I was going to swap wheels with the wheels that he got on that bike that he built up, and that was this wheel set. So I don't know what he put together or how it arrived at this set, but it was a nice wheel set that I possessed at the time on the East Coast. So one day on another trip back east, I swapped out wheels. Wrapping things up, we got two Bolito tubes, Heresy tires. I run the 1.9s. I have a 4P titanium pivotal seat bolt, profile seat clamp, Iggy grips, and then I run a custom bar setup with a couple of Biz House rings on the inside to have them hit the ground first. Let me show you. So for the longest time, I've been running a set of 4 or 5 Biz House rings on the inside of my bars. So for bars with sweep, when the front hits, that's what hits. And when the back hits, the bar end hits. Pretty genius. So there she is. That's a Connoisseur component as well. hub cleaner, gear strap, whatever you want to call it, made by Jason Pitchke. And here's what I'm dealing with at the back. See down here and down here. My wheel is true, that's more tire imperfection, but there's just too tight a tolerance. My wheel is all the way back in the dropout, making my back end really long, and I want a shorter back end and a shorter frame so I can pass hikers through a little easier. So that said, I'm gonna be making some changes to this bike. So I ordered some parts and that's already been delivered. So let's check it out. I'm gonna do an unboxing here. I got an order from Flatlandfuel and I'm gonna open it here with you. My Flatland bike right there. I'm giving it a refresh and I needed to order some parts to do that, obviously. Let's see what I've got. I almost forget all this stuff. Thank you, Patrick. I've been ordering from Pat at Flatlandfuel since he started Flatlandfuel. So, always feels good to get an order of BMX parts. Let's see what it is. So first, because it's least surprising, fresh 4P seat. Doing a refresh on a bike, you gotta hit the touch points. My old seat's torn. So, fresh, sticking with the blue. I like the blue. This one's a little different. It's the first gen, I guess, with the patch here, because then they made them embroidered, but this will do the job just fine and look really good. I think they look like Odyssey 99ers a little bit with the blue and the black. So it's as close to a Flatland seat as we're gonna get. The other option is a Watanabe, but those shift on the rails. And those are the only two Flatland seat options. I don't know what the hell the rest of y'all are doing. Running street stuff. Headset. Can you see? Slice and dice. Struggle is real. So 4P, I've got some spacers here, and then you have a bunch of top cap options. Varying heights with the 4P logo. So 4P, figured I'd represent Attila, doing stuff for Flatland, helping Flatland, and this is just one way. Next, maybe last but not least, let's dig in here a little bit. Well, that's weird. I bought 2 sets of these. I don't know why I did that. Box here. I'm hoping there's something else inside here as well. Yes, there is. There's a couple other items in this box. So of course, a bunch of stickers, Terry Adams, Premiere coming up, Flatland stuff, support it, Deco, Profile. Deco, Profile. I got Aries steel bar ends. These might be for something else, I'm not sure. I have 2 uses for these. One, my bike, but I run titanium bar ends, I prefer to. And then there's other things, other builds I have going on, so this is probably for those. Got this 18 tooth profile spline drive sprocket. I'm going to 18, so backstory, I used to run whatever, you know, the last cranks that I purposely bought were the Quaman cranks, the ones with that integrated, chain ring. Dude, let me show them to you because as I describe it, I'm looking at them, so this will make it clear. I keep these on a shelf in my living room. They're these Quaman cranks. Do you guys remember these? I rode them. I broke them. And look at how worn out that is. So I rode them and I broke them. And when I did that, I bought Primo cranks, and I needed a chain ring, and Shane Kajanori had one. I think it was like a Rasta Fit sprocket or something. It was this sprocket and these cranks, which also fucked up. The spindle thread hogged out the actual crank. So I bought cranks and I got that sprocket from him, and it was a 25 tooth. So I've run 25/9 forever. And that's kind of street gearing, but I don't mind because I don't really need a, small ratio for, I used to think that a small ratio was for riding away from tricks. When you land and you're at a standstill and you need to pedal away. And I don't really find that need, so I never bothered changing my ratio. Recently I wanted to make some purposeful changes to make my bike actually perform better. I was thinking about what parts to buy, if any, what I would want or need. And I thought, well, for all this, overthinking handlebars and what I should be running, when meanwhile my knee hits my chain ring sometimes from hitchhikers. When you're passing it under and you're balancing, sometimes it hits. So I figure, go with a Flatland sprocket, 18 tooth size. It's gonna be small, get it out of the way, and just be more Flatland oriented. The other thing I notice about when I ride is that when I set my pedals vertical, the pedal that's down will strike the ground when I'm pumping around, carving to get ready for setting up for a trick or whatever. And I thought, why would I tolerate such a thing when there's solutions available? That's another reason cranks are short. Also for hikers, doing hitchhikers a lot, and I want to pass the bike around, and cranks and drivetrain and stuff, that's all in the way. So I'm not going 150 because that's a little extreme, and I feel like I don't want to adjust to that. That's too much of a change, I want to stay within what I think is reasonable, but I'm making a change. I usually run 165s. I have 165 millimeter profiles, but I picked up this. A set of Heresy execution cranks. They look pretty cool. Little Heresy logo on there. Nicey nice. They come with a tie spindle, which is what I run, and wow, that's so light. It's just been a while since I've held one in my hand. You got bolts in here, so they give you the bolts and the washers. Oh, and they give you an installation tool. It's a very cool Heresy, very cool. So new cranks, new chainring, new headset, fresh seat. I do have a fresh Odyssey bottom bracket. Here's part of it. And I do have a fresh chain. I rode this for just a second. The bag is dirtier than the chain is. It's gold. So all these parts are gonna be going on a new frame. It's not a brand new frame, it's a used frame. It's an intricate, S&M intricate. One of the original ones. You got the integrated dropouts, intricate on the inside. I already pressed in the Odyssey bottom bracket, integrated seat clamp. It's got a little dent in the down tube. I don't plan to run this frame forever. This is kind of a temporary frame because I wanted to go to something smaller, and there's nothing out there that I want right now. What I want is a 19-inch frame, kind of traditional looking, and I want this gusset here with this space. I don't care about top tube clearance. I don't really want a bent down tube. I don't want it to be too squished of a frame. If the top tube hits the down tube any lower than those kind of crisscross frames, I crack them right there. So this frame will hold up, but it's not the end all be all. I'm on the hunt for something that I like. Just doesn't exist yet, I guess. So I've run this frame before, and the reason that I want to switch to it is because it's 19-inch top tube. Coming from my Wii, that is a 19.5-inch top tube. And back end's a little longer, so I just want to shorten things up. Also, I have tire clearance issues on the Wii, running 1.9 Heresies, so I just want to stop dealing with my tire rubbing. If you're riding with me, you know what I'm dealing with. So I'm going to build this up, a couple fresh parts. I've ridden this frame before. I tried having two setups, but it didn't really work because neither felt like home. So I'm just going to fully move over to this and retire the Wii, and then we'll see what I ride next. I bought this frame off my friend Eric Klee. He was the kid I grew up riding Flatland with, got into it in the beginning, not her. What is it? Did I know Clee before Flatland? I got this bike from my buddy Eric Clee. He was one of the first, he was the first guy that I was into Flatland with. We both got into it and got fully caught up in the Quammen era. You know, this was like late 99, early 2000s. Marty Quopa, Steph Serra, Nathan Panonzek. Just, we were enamored with those bikes, 8-piece bars, all that style. And we would watch intricate videos and ride all the time. Grew up, he sort of was in and out of Flatland and went more towards skateboarding and hanging out and let's just say nefarious activities. But he cleaned himself up and he was doing well for a number of years then. Tried to get back into Flatland and bought a DK Opsis. Realized that bike sucked and put together a complete through Flatlandfuel of this frame and a bunch of parts. But, you know, Flatland didn't take again for him. Though we got into road riding and cyclocross and stuff, he never really rode Flatland. So he offered his bike to me, and I did end up buying it off of him. He was on the East Coast, so it was a thing to coordinate, but caught up with him one time and bought the bike off him. You know, went through any other parts he had. He was just getting rid of stuff. So he's like, whatever you don't want, I'll throw out. And that's where I got like, I dug out those axle adapters, 3/8 to 14 millimeters. And whatever else. There was a lot of just brake hardware and stuff. A GT seat post clamp from my first BMX bike was in the pile, so little stuff like that. And that was on like a trip home and vacation, who knows when it was. But so Eric Clee ended up passing away from a relapse and an overdose. I think it was a fentanyl related thing. You know, who knows if it was what he was going for or just into what he had gotten, because he was clean for years and then that happened. And he's no longer with us. And the reason I bring that up is because I'm riding his frame. A little bit of it is to honor him. I want his bike to see some tricks, to see some riding, to see California. I did get to catch up with him and tell him about all the Flatland things that I continued doing, you know, since we had last chatted, and he was enamored and stoked on it all. So I'm gonna give this bike a session, and that reminds me, I would be remiss if I didn't say the reason I'm wearing this shirt, Same Thing Daily, Dane Beardsley's videos, because we lost a I can't even say it. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. We lost oh man. Can't say it, I can't talk. We lost Jody Temple. Fuck. Can't even, like, it's so hard to say, man. It's so hard to say. I can't even say the words. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. We lost Jody Temple. I have a 4P titanium seat post. I have a 4P titanium pivotal seat post bolt. I have a 4P pivotal titanium. I have a 4P titanium pivotal seat bolt.